Good evening and welcome to Estuary TV News. I'm Hugh Riches. On the show this evening, Neighbourhood Watch Week is coming up, so we visit Neighbourhood. And my guest tonight is Nikki Bardsley to talk about the Big Bang event.
Join me, Dan Kemp, for a roundup of what happened in the sporting world this weekend.
But first, it's over to James for the news.
Hello, in the headlines today, an 18-month-old boy needed surgery after being attacked by a dog, and companies chip in £7,000 for a local charity. But first, a new survey has revealed the number of teenage girls who smoke in North East Lincolnshire has more than halved in 7 years. A survey in 2007 showed that 24% of girls in their final year of school were smokers, which is roughly 1 in 4. But by 2011, it had dropped to 1 in 5, and the most recent survey shows it's just 10.7%, less than half what it was in 2007. However, the number of boys who smoke has reduced just 1.5%, from 14.9 to 13.5.
And what we actually find is that both boys and girls, that the two main reasons they don't take up smoking is, firstly, that they think they'd rather spend the money on other things, and secondly, they also say that it's bad for their health. But then you do get some variation between boys and girls, so boys are much more likely to say that they don't take up smoking because it'll affect their fitness and they won't be as good at sports, whereas girls tend to stress that it'll make their hair and breath smell, that it'll make them less attractive. So I think what we're doing is helping them to think through the reasons why they shouldn't smoke, really. And when you look at it, there's an awful lot of very good reasons, very positive reasons why they shouldn't smoke. So I think young people are sort of taking those messages on board and hopefully taking some responsibility for their own health.
Police are looking for the owners of a Rottweiler that attacked an 18-month-old boy in Cottingham. The dog bit the child's head while he was walking with his mum at the back of Raywell House, and he needed surgery after the attack at around midday last Tuesday. Police are now looking for an elderly couple in their 70s seen by the boy's mother that day, walking with a Rottweiler and a Staffordshire Bull Terrier. Cleethorpes MP says the results from a local referendum on the EU are overwhelmingly in favour of change. MP Martin Vickers has sent out 40,000 surveys asking for people's views, funded by the local Conservative Association. He's now starting to get replies and says that they confirm his belief this is a Eurosceptic region, but he did admit that people happy with the current system are less likely to reply. He believes his party can stave off the threat from UKIP, who will target local seats after making huge gains in last month's local and European elections.
The reality is that the next general election, unlike the European elections, which have a proportional electoral system, it's a winner-take-all system, and there are two possible outcomes: David Cameron in Downing Street or Ed Miliband in Downing Street. Yes, of course, it is conceivable. It's highly unlikely, even on the wave of the Euro elections, that UKIP will get a member of Parliament. They may get a handful, but that handful may well be at the cost of Conservative members who are much more Eurosceptic in the first place, and therefore might deny David Cameron the majority. And if David Cameron doesn't get a majority, then we don't have a referendum. Ed Miliband's made that very clear.
Over £7,000 has been raised for Humberston Hydrotherapy Pool following a charity golf day. 32 teams took part in the event at Waltham Golf Club, organised by Nikki and David Hale. Last year they held a golf day to raise funds for the RNLI and hoped this year would be even bigger and better.
Yeah, we worked extremely hard last year and we managed to put £5,500 in the bank for the RNLI. This year we've set a target at £7,000. Whether we'll get there or not is another thing, but we'll try our damnedest.
Charity golf days are proving to be an increasingly popular way to raise funds, and businesses in North East Lincolnshire are keen to chip in.
I think it's very important, and as a company, yes, we definitely support our local community at every opportunity, especially on the golf course.
It's a worthy cause, and we all live quite near to Humberston Avenue where the hydrotherapy pool is.
In all honesty, it's a fantastic cause. I've known David for many years, and anything that he does to support local charities will follow him completely.
Well, it's basically down to if the businesses can support it and they can put some revenue towards the charities, it'll help people who need it, the needy causes.
And finally, the Lincolnshire Show opens tomorrow. The two-day festival is Lincolnshire's biggest agricultural fair and showcases the region's finest food, livestock and entertainment. So to find out just what's on offer, head to Lincolnshire Showground. Well, I'm afraid that's all I've got time for. So until next time, bye for now.
This week is the start of Neighbourhood Watch Week, and in Heyborough the group has been going for more than 20 years, and it's led by Chairwoman Jean Keyworth. Emma Lingard went to meet her, and she began by asking her why she thought it had been so successful.
In the past, when we did have quite a bit of trouble, from vandalism, kids hanging about, things like that, maybe our burglaries and things, I think mainly because older people were more interested and were at home all the time, so obviously more vigilant than the people that are here now, because quite a lot of the people are older. They're the ones that would ring and let me know. That I always say to them, ring the police and then ring me so that I know what's going on and I can pass it on. But the newcomers that move in tend to be working and maybe things haven't happened to them. They've not had a burglary or a break-in or anything like that, so they're not quite as bothered. It's just the way it is, I think.
Neighbourhood Watches are the eyes and ears of the community. Prior to its formation in Heyborough, the village had regular problems with youngsters causing a nuisance at the former chapel.
The kids have always gathered there. For years and years they've gathered there. And as each lot's grown up and gone, the next lot's come. And so they gathered there, they would sit and drink. You know, if they got hold of any beer as they got a little bit older, and the police would come and tip it away, and, you know, things like that. That I can't say they were bad. They were just kids. You know, they were just young kids, you know, just youngsters, and basically doing the kind of things that they all do. Being a nuisance, really, to the residents, I suppose. But we didn't get a terrific amount of break-ins, things like that. It seemed to go in spates. Maybe we'd get half a dozen and then nothing for quite a long time, and then again, you know. But when we set it up, really, we weren't getting a vast amount. It was just thought that, you know, it would clear things up completely. And to be fair, it's taken a while, but it has done.
As police budgets shrink and their policing areas grow, the Neighbourhood Watch Group is important in assisting the local force.
Take care, Jean. Bye. I personally do challenge anybody that comes in the street. If I don't know them and I see them, be they walking or even if they're driving, I'll go out and ask, you know, who they are. And quite a few of the coordinators will do that as well around here. And at the meeting, at the Neighbourhood Watch meeting at the Town Hall last night, they did say that they wouldn't do that. Quite a few say they wouldn't do that. But at the end of the day, I mean, there's no reason why you can't ask somebody what they're doing.
There's been a drive to get young people into engineering, and one event aimed at doing that is the Big Bang event. This year, it's expected 3,000 students from across the region will attend. Joining me to explain more is Nikki Bardsley, Education Links Administrator from the Humberside Engineering Training Association. Nikki, thanks very much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
What is the Big Bang event?
Big Bang Yorkshire and Humber is the regional show event.
Yes.
Regional event, part of a national Big Bang event to promote science, technology, engineering, maths in school children.
Right.
We've organised it, and it's going to be held at the Doncaster Racecourse on the 24th of June. We have over 3,000 students coming along from across the whole of the Yorkshire and Humber region. I think there's about 54 different secondary schools attending and a few primary schools as well.
And what will they see when they get there? What's going to be going on?
There's two shows running. One run by the University of Hull called When the Monkey Met the iPad, explaining about how your touch screens work, so how your mobile phones and iPads and things work. And one run by the Society of Dyers and Colourists, talking about glow sticks and things like that.
Okay.
Also, there's 45 different hands-on activities that have been brought to us from different companies across the whole of our region. People like Arco in Hull, they'll be running a bloodhound event, so the supersonic car. We have primarily science from Scunthorpe, doing the science of bubbles. We've got crime scene investigations. We've actually got an old F1 racing car that's been adapted to become a simulator, so that you can actually sit in an old racing car and drive around Silverstone. We've got wind turbines, we've got Siemens, all sorts of different companies coming along. We've also got some of the students are bringing their projects that they've been doing in the schools to enter the competitions.
And the purpose of the whole event is to try to encourage young people at school to go into engineering, science, maths. Why do we need more people going into those disciplines?
It's a proven fact that in this country there's a massive skills shortage for those types of jobs. We used to be the leaders in these fields, and for some reason the manufacturing has gone. We need to start building that up to bring Britain back onto the map.
And certainly in this region, in East Yorkshire, Northern Lincolnshire and around the Humber, then the renewable energy sector is going to be creating a great demand for engineers.
It is, and it's not just engineers that they'll need microbiologists, they'll need accountants, they need all sorts of different people. But unless we tell them and somebody tells the students that this is what they can do around our region, they're not going to know about it.
And why is it that students don't find these subjects attractive? Why are you having to encourage them to do it? Why aren't they jumping into this voluntarily?
I'm not sure. In primary schools they do. They seem to love science and engineering and things like that. But I think in secondary school the focus is more on the theoretical side maybe, and it's not as hands-on. So maybe they find it a little bit boring.
But everybody gets a go at making copper sulfate crystals and lighting up, sticking bits of magnesium into a Bunsen burner. It's all absolutely fantastic, isn't it? How science is, and engineering and the physics, the whole thing. It's glamorous. It's wonderful. It's mad scientists.
Yes, that's another vision that we want to get rid of, the mad scientists.
Right.
Yes, if you ask somebody to draw a scientist, you can guarantee they'll have a white coat and fuzzy hair. It's not really that type of thing anymore.
And too many mad scientists and not enough Igors, I suppose.
Maybe
is
so, yes.
the problem. What if people do go into these, young people do go into these industries? What can they expect? What sort of career lies ahead of them?
The whole world is open to them. They can work anywhere in the world. The salaries range from anywhere from like 28,000 upwards 40 and onwards.
And they can make a real difference to the future of the
they
world.
They can, yeah. Yeah, we've got people that could maybe research into cancer and all sorts.
Thank you very much, Nikki, and good luck with the event. Now over to Dan Kemp with the sport.
Thanks, Hugh. With the first Test match of the summer at Lord's, Yorkshire's batsmen have been excelling. Joe Root hit his maiden Test match double century to give England a first innings lead of 122 against Sri Lanka, and Gary Ballance also pitched in with 100 in the second innings. Bowler Liam Plunkett makes it a trio of Yorkshire players in the first Test. On the county scene, Yorkshire's T20 side beat Northamptonshire on Friday night. For a complete rundown of the local cricket results, visit our Facebook page or on Twitter at Estuary TV. In Rugby League, Hull FC pulled off one of the shock results of the weekend by beating the informed Widnes Vikings away by 56 points to 6. 17-year-old Callum Lancaster ran over his first senior hat-trick, and fullback Jamie Shaw also bagged 3 tries. Hull Kingston Rovers, on the other hand, lost by 34 points to 4 at home to the Warrington Wolves. Ross McGregor of Louth Triathlon Club will represent Great Britain at this summer's World Triathlon Championships. He heads to Canada on August the 29th to participate in the event, where he will compete against more than 4,000 athletes from across the globe. Ross qualified, having completing the triathlon in Nottingham within the hour mark. That's all for the sport. Back to you, Hugh.
That's all from us this time. If you have any stories for us, please email news@estuary.tv or contact us via our Twitter or Facebook pages, or pick up the phone and call 01472 315561. Until next time, goodbye.